Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Minute. Let's have a good day, shall we? Look at that. The Tigers coming off of a sweep, SWEEP, of the Chicago White Sox. Man, they know how to make things interesting. We'll get to that to open up the 10 o'clock hour. Let's start here. Rumors. Sometimes they're real, sometimes they are not. But in the world of the NBA, this time of year, the rumor mill is going wild. And it's probably the only sport where the rumors are real, not in the sense that every rumor is to come true, but unlike the NFL has reporting. They have these top dogs like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport who just shatter news. Then in the NBA, you have this wild, wild west of this time of year and throughout the course of the calendar year, everybody just becomes a reporter. Hoops Central, NBA rumors. And then you've got guys like Shams, who's just been kind of like floating stuff out there for the last 3 years about Giannis getting traded. And that's where we are right now. It seems like from now until the draft tomorrow night, Giannis is going to be moved, which would be the biggest player to be traded since, good God, I don't even know when, Kyle. I mean, the Luka trade was shocking in that you don't trade a young superstar, but he wasn't a two-time MVP Finals NBA champion.
It would be the
MVP.
most shocking trade since the Luka trade, though.
I don't know if shocking is the right word,
Sure.
but the biggest,
Yeah.
the largest. Here's where the rumor comes in with the Pistons. Rumor has it that Tyler Herro, if the trade is with the Miami Heat, if it ends up being a Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks trade, Tyler Herro could be routed to Detroit as a part of a third or fourth or fifth team, however many teams end up being involved. But Tyler Herro could end up being on the Detroit Pistons. We have talked about this before. It's not the first time, but it seems like this is starting to really heat up. And we say all this, and guess what? At 12:03, Giannis is probably going to get traded to the Celtics. But there is more than just one random account. There's many accounts, trustworthy accounts, and reporters talking about Tyler Herro potentially coming to Detroit. Okay, let's break this down a little bit. Tyler Herro has been in the league for 7 years. In theory, he brings lights-out three-point shooting. He brings the ability to score off the dribble, a secondary score outside of Cade Cunningham. In theory, it's a pretty good fit. Here are the gripes I have with that. Tyler Herro played in 33 games last year. It's the fourth game of his 7 seasons in which he's played less than 65 games. This includes, everyone talks about Tyler Herro. He's been to 2 different NBA finals. It's not true. Tyler Herro has been to 1 NBA finals. And in 2023, when the Heat miraculously made the finals as an 8 seed, Tyler Herro played 1 game the entire playoffs. So he's had a hard time staying healthy throughout his career. He's also an expiring contract. He's got 1 more year left. And right now at 26 years old, I would imagine he is going to be taking the highest offer on the table next offseason. And whether or not the Pistons want to pay an imperfect player $25 to $30 million, that is where I have some serious gripes. As a player, as the fit, I don't think it's all that bad. But then you look at some of the defensive things in the playoffs. He gets hunted, most famously 2 seasons ago by the Cavaliers. Man, they picked him apart, right? I worry about what he plays like with the ball not in his hands as the primary guard for the first time in his career. I worry about that fit as well. I worry about him showing up and being like, wait, why am I not shooting the ball as much as Kate? This is our duo. This is me and him. And I worry that selflessness that the Pistons had, you lose some of that if you trade away Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, Duncan Robinson, whatever that ends up being, players who don't need the ball in their hands to accelerate where they're good at. But you give up assets to acquire Tyler Herro, who does need the ball in his hands for the most part to create a positive impact. Do you want to guess in his 15 playoff games and where he started? Because I think I vocalized this to you before too. Tyler Herro is best suited as a six-man, but he's young enough to where people will continue to give him opportunities as a starting guard. Do you want to guess what his playoff record is as a starting guard?
Well, yeah, he was coming off the bench when they went to the finals when he was a rookie, so...
He's played in 15
playoff
games.
I mean, the Heat have not gone on a run since really like the 23 one, and you said he was injured during that stretch, so they haven't made it out of the first round, so I would assume it's not very good.
He's 4-11 as a starter in the playoffs. So don't take
I'm not putting it all on him.
I'm not putting it all on him either. But when I hear people say, well, this is a guy who's been to 2 NBA finals. First of all, it's just not true. He didn't play in the second NBA finals that the Heat made.
And he was a rookie in the bubble in the first one.
As a six-man, where I think he is best suited. The Pistons would be bringing him in to be more than just a six-man. They'd be bringing him in to fill a lot of the needs that they needed last offseason with a very imperfect player on both sides of the ball. I am much more down, Tyler Herro's been an all-star, 19 points per game player. On the surface, those stats look pretty good. I would rather have a Trey Murphy who is much more of a well-rounded role player than Tyler Herro, who some people expect to be a star, some people, including himself. I think he's always going to be chasing what his ceiling can be, where you bring in a guy like Trey Murphy, and it's pretty black. This guy is a role player, a glorified, fantastic glue guy.
He's averaged more points than Tyler Herro last year.
I think he's a fantastic glue guy in that he has less flaws than Tyler Herro, despite having a lower ceiling than him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you. Tyler Herro's been an all-star, so that's probably what gives him that badge, I guess you could say, of not being a role player.
I worry about bringing in an imperfect player and having. You don't make the move unless you think it can get you over the top. I just don't really believe that Tyler Herro is going to get the Pistons over the top. Does it lead them to winning that Cleveland series, as you've pointed out in Game 7? Yeah, probably. You have another score and you probably win that series. But here's the thing. Can you envision Tyler Herro playing in the NBA Finals that we just saw with these massive guards? I know Jalen Brunson's a small guy, so it's kind of randomness. Tyler Herro's not 75% of what Jalen Brunson is on offense. Jalen Brunson's a special offensive player. Tyler Herro's a good one. I can't envision him playing in that physical, tough to get into the paint, bully ball style of basketball that we saw in the finals and the style that the Pistons prefer to play. And for that reason, I am very hesitant to be all in on this Tyler Herro trade if this is what ends up happening in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. I'll first off say, we don't necessarily disagree in the fact that there are other players that I would prefer the Pistons to get. I, of course, would rather them get Trey Murphy over Tyler Herro. We don't disagree there. There is a long list of guys, and I'm like, yeah, I think it would make more sense to get Herro. Let's first talk about him as a player. You say, he'd be better off as a sixth man. Give me a team in the league he comes off the bench for. He's just not a sixth man. I understand the take, but like you're saying, yeah, he's in a role of being a sixth man. You prefer that. He's just not, though. He's a starter in the NBA. He's averaged 20 points per game 5 years in a row and was an all-star in his last fully healthy season, where he was pretty unbelievable in 2025. He's just not a sixth man, right? Is that fair to say?
Sure.
So, and last year was a weird situation where he was injured for a lot of the year. The Miami Heat acquire Norman Powell, who just comes in lights a-blazing, and it's Norman Powell and Tyler Herro really can't play together, and Norm was great, so Herro kind of got put in this weird situation of, hey, he didn't play a lot of games, obviously, too, but his 2025 season, averaged 24 points per game. He is an elite, shot taker, I guess, as far as for what the Pistons need. He does fit the exact mold of, the Pistons need a secondary guy who can be an amazing catch-and-shoot three-point guy, also can create his own shot as well. Just a very high-volume shooter that the Pistons so desperately need. That's not just Duncan Robinson, because Robinson is a guy that they need as well, but Herro does it in different ways. So from the fit as a player, Herro, I think, does make a lot of sense. And I also think it makes sense for the price you likely have to give up to get him. Because I'm with you in the fact that, like, hey, Trey Murphy, I want to get Trey Murphy too. It sounds like the Atlanta Hawks are willing to give up the 8th overall pick to go get him, which that had a very heavy rumor stance to it last night late on Twitter. Once again, you hit it great with the rumor stuff. You never know what to believe at this time of year in the NBA offseason.
No, it's the only sport where it's just a wild west of reporting. And some of it ends up being true, some of it doesn't.
100%. But Murphy, of course, is going to cost a ton more than Tyler Herro is. And it when you try to think about what a third team or who the third team could be in a Giannis Miami Heat type of trade, the Pistons swooping in and giving up Karis LeVert's expiring contract or Isaiah Stewart. It sounds like Isaiah Stewart might be the guy that would be involved in that deal too.
Or Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, hopefully not even the 21st pick. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like, that just, to me, I'm like, I'm willing to do that. But it can't be your only move. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at. I agree with you in the fact that if the Pistons believe that the lone thing they have to do this offseason is basically turn Karis LeVert into Tyler Herro with losing Isaiah Stewart in the process, does that do it? I don't think that does it.
I don't think Tyler Herro's a needle mover, I guess, is where I think that's where we can, the two circles in the diagram,
sure,
the overlapping part. You and I both agree Tyler Herro's not a needle moving player all of a sudden the Pistons are a totally different team.
Yes, I agree with you in that. But I think Herro plus X does. I think Herro plus more is actually good enough because Herro really does fit a bill that the Pistons desperately needed last year.
Correct.
And his price, the price to go get him is well worth it. I'm with you in the fact that, giving him his next contract, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how that's going to go down.
And are you really willing to bring a guy in?
I think it's a risk you're willing to take, though. I do think it is a risk you're willing to take.
But what's the best case scenario for Tyler Herro? You trade away assets for him. He's on an expiring contract. And he plays lights out basketball, and then all of a sudden you're in a situation where you can't give Tyler Herro $35 million a year.
Of course not.
The upside here is, in a way, a downside as well. The best case scenario hurts you in the long run.
It's like the Jalen Duren situation, right?
Yeah, in a way, because the better Jalen Duren played throughout the course of that season last year, the more you're going to have to pay him. Okay, the Pistons, by trading for Tyler Herro, are putting themselves in a very similar situation to where the better this guy plays, the more his price is going to go up, whether it's the Pistons or another team paying for him. And even if he plays great, he's still an imperfect player to where I'd rather pay Trey Murphy's not an expiring contract, but I'd rather pay a guy to where you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting a 3-and-D player. You're getting a winning basketball player like an OG, like a Mikal Bridges, like we talked about so many times, guys that aren't necessarily going to ever be all-stars, but you know exactly what you're getting night in, night out. Hardworking, winning basketball players. I'm not convinced that Tyler Herro is that yet, and the best case scenario is him playing well and then getting that contract, and the Pistons either paying it, which would probably be a mistake to pay imperfect players that much money, or just letting him walk and you don't get anything in your return or your what you dished out last year and you only get him for 1 year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of approach with caution with this Tyler Herro situation.
Also in the fact that if you acquire Tyler Herro, you're just probably not acquiring Trey Murphy, right?
Correct.
One, because of the money, but two, because then your lineup is just going to be smaller than I think the Pistons probably want to, right? Then you're rolling out Cade, Herro, Asar, Murphy as your first four. Murphy as the 3 is probably what they would like to do. I would assume at least. So
you lose some size.
You do lose some size, which is
and it's not like
seeing that trend.
Huge either.
Yeah, we're seeing that trend in the NBA right now. Like, size matters.
You're right about that. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. Do you believe Tyler Herro is a needle mover? We will get to the Detroit Tigers at the beginning of the 10 o'clock hour around the league as well. It's the Ben Bosscher Show here on The Mid. The 9 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. You know, we talk about the game plan on this show all the time, the execution of it, and that's how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next, so you can focus on your mission instead of your tech. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission focus. You can check them out online, ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
(989-837-6125). So you and I are in agreement that Tyler Herro is not a needle mover. You are a little bit more into acquiring Tyler Herro for the right price, whether that's like, where do you draw the line? At what point are you saying, you know what, that was a little too much? Is it Isaiah Stewart? Is it Ron Holland? Is it Duncan Robinson? Is it the 21st pick? At what point is it, this was not worth it? Because you laid out, we laid out all the bad stuff that comes with Tyler Herro. You know, the defensive liability aspect of it, the fact that you're getting a little bit smaller if he's in the starting lineup, the imperfectness of his play style, whether that's the defensive stuff or not to say it's not going to happen, that he's not a high IQ basketball player, because he is an elite shot creator, and the Pistons
and
need that.
He played for the Heat. He played for Eric Spoelstra. I think that really matters.
I think that's a good point as well. But at the end of the day, I'm going to need to see it from a guy like that who's so used to having the ball in his hands. There is a learning curve of willing to play with the ball not in your hands as much, and when you're playing alongside Cade Cunningham, that's the reality of the situation. And for me, I'm going to need to see that before I am totally ready to think that Tyler Herro is capable of doing that. So there's that part of it too. I think the biggest thing is the contract. You're trading for a player on an expiring contract. Best case scenario, he plays his way into a massive contract, and all of a sudden you lose him because somebody else is paying him.
Or you're paying him a massive contract.
That actually is probably the worst case scenario. He plays his way into a massive deal, and the Pistons overpay someone who on his best year could be an all-star, but is not a superstar at any.
The only thing
world.
is, I do think, and not to say your point is like invalid, but in today's NBA, like if Tyler Herro had a great season, right? Let's say he averages like 24, really good efficiency. Pistons are good. He's one of their better scorers. He's in all-star convos. And all of a sudden they're like, man, the Pistons are going to really have to pay him. And they're like, we're just not. We'll let him hit the open market. No team has money anymore. Like no team has like, hey, here's $35 million to pay Tyler Herro. Like nobody's doing that. So the leverage still belongs to the team that owns the guy, which that sounds pretty bad, right? The team that he is on, the leverage belongs to nowadays in the NBA, rather than guys like, okay, I'll just go to the free agency then, and I'll get a contract there.
Yeah, usually there's one or two teams with money, and those two teams are terrible.
Right.
They're the Brooklyn Nets.
Unless it is a star player hitting the open market, teams will get creative to create cap space to go sign that guy, which it just doesn't happen anymore with the current CBA. Like, name the last time a superstar player legit hit free agency and, like, switch teams. Paul George with the Clippers and 76ers, but that wasn't even like, he wasn't quite on superstar status anymore.
No, not at all.
So, like, it's been a long time. So that's my only thing. And Tyler Herro obviously is not a superstar either. So I think that the Pistons would have leverage in any sort of like next offseason conversations. But I do think that worrying about next offseason is a little bit of a we'll figure it out then kind of thing. The fit of a player is really good. You asked me the question of what would be too much. I think like if you gave up Stu and 21 or Ron Holland and 21 or Ron Holland and Stu, I'm probably chill on that. And I think it's just LeVert and Stu, or it's LeVert and 21.
And I'd like to be clear about this too. Every single one of those assets is expendable. It's just a matter of how much of them are you willing to put together to cash in for Tyler Herro.
And how much of them could you use in a separate deal as well.
Exactly.
Because I think LeVert and 21 going back to Milwaukee in this scenario would be pretty good return. Like the 21st pick, and you're just kind of adding an extra first round pick in this deal that you're trading away Giannis. LeVert is obviously just for the money sake of things. Maybe it's just LeVert and Stu, and then they can reroute Stu to get an extra first round pick because Stu still does have that value.
Explain to me why Milwaukee wouldn't want Tyler Herro too. Like Tyler, they're going to be bad no matter.
Expiring. I mean, you're literally just going to lose him. Trade him now. Get anything for him. And he has to be in the trade for the money.
You know you're going to be bad. Exactly. So why not just keep him, I guess is what I'm saying. You know you're going to be bad regardless. Why not have one guy who could, I don't even think put butts in seats, but, don't be the worst team in NBA history.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason to have Tyler Herro on your team rather than rerouting him.
I think Tyler Herro is a Milwaukee-born.
Yeah, he's from there.
Yeah, that's what I always remember that being a thing because he was supposed to go to Wisconsin and then he ended up going to Kentucky. That's right. So, I mean, yeah, that could be a little bit of a thing. Yeah, he's born in Milwaukee, so
Yeah. Maybe that's part of the reason to keep him too. Like, we don't want to be the worst team in NBA history, so let's bring at least one guy in who can put the ball in the hoop a little bit off of his own.
Yeah.
Because if they trade Giannis and also reroute Herro to Detroit, Milwaukee is potentially going to be one of the worst teams ever. There's nobody on that roster that can score.
Yeah, I mean, I still think if I'm Milwaukee, like, my number one goal is to do anything to get Portland involved in the deal so I can get my picks back. That's the number one thing I would want to do. If it means we're getting Jaylen Brown to reroute him there, or anything that gets Portland involved to get your own picks back, that is should be their number one priority.
Yeah, but if you're Portland,
they have all the leverage. Why would I get involved? Why would I get involved with that at all?
That could be the first overall pick this year.
We're also Portland also just got bought out by the cheapest owners in all of sports. So why
would they? Yeah, why would they sign up to pay?
Why
a
would
super
they
duper
trade for Jaylen Brown? Yeah, who's crazy paid. So yeah, the thing with Herro though, I think it is more good than bad. You said there's a lot of bad that comes with it. For the price that it's going to cost that we just laid out, if it is just LeVert and 21 or LeVert and Stu, I think it is more good than bad at that price because it allows you to still make other moves in the offseason. It allows you to do Herro plus more. And I think that's why I would be happy. If it's just Herro, I'm with you. I don't think it's enough. I think that I would be pretty disappointed if the only thing they did was replace Karis LeVert with Tyler Herro, who's, of course, a massive upgrade, but you're losing Beef Stew in the process. It doesn't really fix your power forward spot problem. You lose size. Yeah, it's not enough.
Here's the thing, too. I agree with you that there's more good than bad with Tyler Herro. I think there's players out there with maybe less good, but almost no bad. Those are the winning players that I'm talking about. The guys who know exactly who they are, don't make mistakes. They know how to fit in with every sort of team that they play on. The guys that the Knicks acquired, like OG and McHale. A guy like Tyler Herro, I don't want to say is overconfident because I think it's good to have confidence in yourself when you're playing in a professional sports league, especially basketball.
Tough shots. I think that's kind of where you're trying to get here.
Yeah, sometimes he's got that irrational confidence where he's like, hey, don't worry, guys, I got us. And it leads to a lot of people looking at the TV or looking at maybe his own teammates like, what? That was the shot we're going with here? With the game on the line, we're going with you pulling up from 35 feet. And a lot of that was lack of talent on Miami, to be fair.
I would agree with that as well.
Again, this is the part that I'm just going to need to see it before I'm ready to be all in. And I'm not saying that it's not going to work. I would like to see it. Can he play off the ball a little bit and be comfortable with not having the ball in his hands as much as he was when he was with Miami?
I would say, though, isn't that kind of what the Pistons need? A version of it, at least. The guy who has the irrational confidence to take tough shots and he's an elite shot maker. It is, obviously, it does get to a point where it's okay, maybe we got to chill out a little bit. But a version of that is, you could argue, exactly what Detroit needs.
And I would say it is exactly what they need, but I would prefer they get that off the bench. And then you can bring in a guy to play next to Cade Cunningham, that same player that comes in off the bench. Because I think that's more suited for a second unit, the irrational confidence guy. And then you could play him alongside Cade as well down the stretch if you really have to. But like you said, Tyler Herro is just too good to come off the bench at this point. So it's that weird in between of this is a guy who's a really high volume guy, but is not a superstar, but is too good to come off the bench.
Fringe all-star level player.
Yeah, which is probably the scariest type of players to have on your team.
Tough group to be in,
especially when they're on an expiring contract. One of the scarier pieces to have on a team. 989-837-6125. We'll get your guys' thoughts on the Tyler Herro addition if that ends up happening. If it is a Milwaukee and Miami trade, I would guess that's going to happen before the draft, which is tomorrow night. So I would say if Tyler Herro is going to become a Piston, it's going to happen within the next 36 hours. Then again, Milwaukee could just end up sending Giannis to Boston, and all this was for nothing.
Which that's picked up steam as well.
989-837-6125. We'll hit the news when we come back and then get your thoughts on the Tyler Herro trade. Again, 989-837-6125. Show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair. The experts who do the job right the first time, whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come. Got to let you know, Ace Hardware and Sports, locally owned and proudly family operated. Downtown Midland, they're your go-to spot as we are in the midst of summer now. Stop in on East Main Street in the heart of downtown Midland. Ace Hardware, helping you get ready for the season ahead while supporting your community, all in one stop.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
.9 The Mint. Kyle Sandel, I need you to help fill us in. What is going on in the world of the news? Oh? There we go. What up, Kyle? How you doing?
Just going to give me a second.
No worries.
All right. Sorry about that.
No need to apologize.
Technical difficulties going on back here.
You are all good. You are all good.
All right, let's get into the news. First off, let's take a look at the Covenant Healthcare Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury report. We had it reported to us earlier this weekend that Justin Verlander would not be making his start with the Tigers. He got scratched, and this is not just he's out for this time, he'll be back the next time kind of thing. No, he is out for weeks. AJ Hinch let us know. Left hamstring injury during the bullpen session. This is, of course, really tough news for JV and really tough news for the Tigers in general because we were really excited. This is going to be one of the few things that going into this weekend before the sweep, hey, it's something we can look forward to for the rest of this year. Justin Verlander just being back on the Tigers. That's a fun, nostalgic thing. And right now, I don't know if we're going to see Justin Verlander.
I think it's like plus 200 that Justin Verlander plays a game for the Tigers again this season. We got one game out of him. He got lit up, and that was pretty much it. I think it's time he hangs it up. Unfortunate. It's time. Yeah, because this is a totally different injury than what he was dealing with the hip.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any reason to think his body's able to hold up and give him anything else left. I think he's given it all out there. I don't expect him to pitch for the Tigers again.
It's a shame. What isn't a shame is the Tigers do sweep this weekend. I know we're not going to talk about it a ton here because we're going to save it for the 10 o'clock hour, but a sweep for the Tigers, and they're right back in action tonight. Tigers-Yankees, and it's an earlier game tonight, a 6:10 first pitch. Garrett Cole against Framber Valdez. This is in Detroit as well, so back-to-back home games. I don't know what's behind the 6:10 start. I'm cool with it, I guess, because usually they do the 6:40s during the week. But sure, 6:10, Framber, Garrett Cole.
I mean, this should be a big one tonight. Yankees with no Judge, you would think, hey, this should be a gettable team. They have a top 5 record in baseball since June 1st, so they've been able to keep cruising without Aaron Judge thanks to Rice and obviously some of their other pitchers, including Garrett Cole. So big opportunity for the Tigers tonight to keep climbing up those standings.
Yes, indeed. We did have our first real NBA move happen last night. Aaron Wiggins, this is how much you know that Ben and I are fiending for a trade in the NBA that we're talking about this. Aaron Wiggins, a role player for the Thunder who essentially didn't really play in the end of that playoff series against San Antonio because they were so deep, gets traded to the Atlanta Hawks for 2 second-round picks. If you're a deep NBA fan, you remember in the NBA Finals 2 seasons ago, Wiggins shined in the series against Indiana, had a lot of big moments, ended up playing bigger minutes in that series than expected. A pretty good 3-and-D role player guy. He's on a good deal. OKC had to shed money. Feels like a pretty good move for the Hawks.
Yeah, I love this for Atlanta. Only took 2 second-round picks to get him as well. He's already gotten paid. He's on a very team-friendly deal, less than $10 million this season. So you take that, and you know that you're getting a player with a pretty crazy upside compared to what he's being paid. Not going to lie, my first reaction was, I wish this was the Pistons. Wish the Pistons were acquiring
I thought
Wiggins
the same
right
thing,
now.
and then I caught myself being a prisoner of the moment of no, this is just the first trade. They clearly have other things that they're planning on doing. Now, if they do nothing, and I'm going to look back at this and be like, really? You have 1,000 second-round picks. You couldn't give up 2 of them for a guy in Wiggins who would be a pretty good player for you.
He'd come in and play right away.
Yeah. You could argue could start on the Pistons.
Correct. And be one of those role guys where it's this guy just is a winning player.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do anything out of the ordinary, but isn't going to hurt you with dumb plays ever.
Exactly. Great trade for the Hawks. I definitely like it for them. They also brought back C.J. McCollum on a 1-year, $21 million extension as well. C.J. McCollum, of course, most notably the only guy that could stop the New York Knicks in the playoffs, and he did it for 2 games on 2-game winners, and that was it. So
he got more done against the Knicks than Wemby did.
It's a good point. Let's talk golf. Wyndham Clark holds on at Shinnecock. He goes wire to wire to win his 2nd U.S. Open title. This was pretty crazy, leading after each and every day of this tournament. There was some good moments as far as Scottie Scheffler had a chance to come back. Sam Burns had a huge day 4. He almost stormed back into this, but Wyndham Clark, despite having a rougher day on Sunday, it wasn't a bad day by any means because he still won, holds on to win the U.S. Open.
I can't believe he held on despite Sunday there being anytime he shot it was put it in the bunker window.
Dude, that's why.
That's crazy.
That's one of those things that maybe it's just me being childish. I will always laugh at the put it in the bunker or put it in the water as soon as the tee shot is hit. I just will always laugh at that.
He had the crowd going against him for no reason other than they wanted Scotty to win.
No, Wyndham Clark is pretty disliked.
Why?
Well, last year at the U.S. Open at Oakmont, he notably damaged the locker room there. He's like the most rage-filled golfer. You would probably really relate to this.
Okay.
As a rage-filled golfer yourself. Really gets on himself hardcore and likes to get physical when he's upset. So he would smash his club. He destroyed the locker room at Oakmont last year, basically. And it caused a lot of turmoil between him and other golfers. So that's why he's somewhat disliked. But yeah, also people are rooting for Scotty. I mean, how could you not be rooting for Scotty on his birthday?
Yeah, that was the story.
Going for the Grand Slam, too, yeah.
I was pulling for that. I had a little wager on Scotty to pull it off. And it felt like after Saturday, he was totally going to. The way that he was playing Saturday and how he had closing that gap, he'd risen all the way up to second place in the entire standings. And all it was, hey, if Wyndham Clark just has a poor Sunday, which was totally on the table.
Yeah.
And Scotty
he kind of did, yeah.
And Scotty played how he did on Saturday again. Scotty could get it done. And Wyndham didn't have a great Sunday. Yet that lead that he built up, he had a 6-stroke lead over everybody going into Sunday?
6 strokes going into Sunday, which is pretty ridiculous, especially for that course.
Got it done.
It was close, though. Ended up pulling it off by 1 stroke. So only 1 major left in the 2026 season, which is pretty crazy to think about it, that we're already this far in. No majors yet for Scotty, and it's going to take another year for a Grand Slam opportunity with him not winning the U.S. Open. More stuff going on in the news. The Senators deal unites the Tkachuk brothers. The Panthers have traded for Brady Tkachuk, so they're going to pair up the bros. We, of course, know that a Dylan Larkin trade is coming this offseason, but before that, we get a pretty big trade here. This is always something that got talked about for quite some time.
The Tkachuks playing together?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's almost as cool as the Antetokounmpos playing together.
Nothing is as cool as that. Yeah, no way. Cape Verde's magical start to their first World Cup is not over because yesterday they were, of course, had a draw with Spain at the beginning of the tournament, which was pretty unreal. They did it again. They came from behind to have another draw, 2-2 against Uruguay yesterday. So they're the historic, just magical run here of pulling off draws as the major underdogs. What's Ben's reaction to this?
I'm just clapping it up for this team that still has not
Cape
won
Verde,
a game. They're incredible.
Yeah, that still has not won.
They have not won a game. And
yeah.
It's just an incredible story of them going winless in the World Cup. Congratulations to them.
Okay. The U.S., of course, we haven't had a chance to talk about this because it happened in the afternoon Friday, so it's old news by now. But have already clinched their group pretty sweet, 2-0. They take on Turkey next Thursday at 10 p.m., so it's a late game, but U.S. has already clinched their group, which is awesome. So we're very excited for that to continue going. A.J. Hinch, after the Tigers sweep of the White Sox, quote, said, "We can do a lot of different things on the field. It's why we put our record aside and try not to stare at it every day. It doesn't define our team, and it doesn't illustrate where our strengths are."
I'm glad they're not staring at it every day, because I certainly am. Look, this team is going to continue to rope-a-dope us all summer long. Every time we write them off, they do something like they did this weekend and sweep the White Sox and close that gap a little bit. The number one thing I'm still worried about is the fact that they can't win on the road, at all. They still have the worst record on the road in the league, so that part of it would make me think there's still not a comeback possible, but you sweep a team that was in first place,
man,
and it's okay.
Can you do it again, though?
The back and forth stuff is just
Can you sweep
wild.
another first-place team this week?
We shall see.
One more thing in the news. The College World Series Game 3 closing tonight. Oklahoma versus UNC. Game 3 was forced after yesterday's game, so that is happening tonight. And I did just want to throw in, because we've been clowning this guy all offseason, Brandon Ayuk is back.
Oh, now what?
He went on Instagram yesterday, posted a video of him just saying, "Go Commanders, go." Just repeatedly.
That's it?
Well, he's still a member of the 49ers.
No, I don't mean that's it in terms of that's all. I mean I'm surprised that's all he's doing.
Yeah, right. Good point. So maybe he's advocating to team up with his old college teammate, Jaden Daniels.
I would advise against that if I was the Commanders.
Yeah, I would agree.
99-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on the Mitt. We'll get to your texts about Tyler Herro when we come back. Hey, it's officially golf season. And if you're like me, you're looking for new places to play. Golfers, look no further. Apple Mountain in Freeland, where every round comes with a side of scenic perfection. Championship-level course, beautifully maintained and just the right mix of challenge and fun. When we've wrapped up 18, head to the Apple Mountain Restaurant, the perfect place for casual elegance and spectacular views. Whether you're playing for score or just soaking in the atmosphere, Apple Mountain is your place to unwind, recharge, and enjoy the game. Apple Mountain in Freeland, minutes away, but miles from ordinary.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. Ben Bosscher Show live here on The Mid. Our thoughts on Tyler Herro. Your thoughts on Tyler Herro, really, becoming a Piston, which could happen in the next 36 hours if there is a trade sending Giannis to Miami. But also, it sounds like it's intensifying the conversation surrounding Giannis going to Boston, which would, in fact, be worst-case scenario. I would much rather Giannis go to Miami and the Pistons acquire Tyler Herro, even though I think he's an imperfect player, than Giannis just go to Boston and all of a sudden you got to deal with Jason Tatum fully back from the ACL plus Giannis, both of which have given the Pistons fits because we don't have anyone with that archetype of a body to slow them down.
Plus
Pistons
the coach of the year, plus Derek White. Like, the team still's good.
It's the best team in the East without a doubt if they acquire. I think they're the best team in the East even if they don't get Giannis going into the year.
And like Giannis going to the Heat like makes the Heat absolutely a contender, like no doubt about it. I don't think it makes them the instant favorites in the East.
Correct.
Whereas Boston, no doubt, is the instant favorites in the East with Giannis.
I mean, we struggled against Milwaukee in general for years because even with Isaiah Stewart, a great rim protector, even with this lights-out defense that the Pistons have had, we've had no answer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not that most teams do, but we didn't have anything close to it. We've had no answers for Jason Tatum either because as great of a defender as Asar Thompson is, he's just not big enough.
Tatum's just really good.
And he's 6'9"? He looks closer
Huge.
to 6'10", 6'11" than he does his listed height. He's a massive dude. Asar's not big enough to guard him. And the Pistons, what are you doing? Throwing Tobias on him? Okay. He's getting cooked. What do? You throwing Isaiah Stewart on him? He's not quick enough to stay in front of him. Tatum and Giannis are both individually not good matchups for the Pistons. If those guys are playing on the same team, we're going to have some major problems. So I'd rather be the team that takes on Tyler Herro and sends Giannis to Miami to disperse the talent in the East just a little bit. But it sounds like these Giannis to the Celtics rumors are getting more intense by the hour.
Heating up this morning. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
Scott says, I'd rather have Giannis than Tyler Herro. Wow. Me too.
I would rather have him. That's true.
Just to be very clear, it's just not going to be worth giving up the capital for Giannis. Unless he does just end up going to Miami and it just doesn't really cost anything. But I still don't think...
What is anything to you? Like, it's going to take all their picks just because they don't have, like, a ton of young... I mean, they have younger players. They have, like, a Khalil Ware.
I just don't think the Pistons have an appropriate package to... Like, it would have to be Duren. Now we're going down a rabbit hole that just doesn't exist.
They're not trading.
Let's just not do that. Michael says they're also rumored to get bounced in the second round regardless. I don't think that's true.
Is that Detroit he's talking about?
I would imagine so. I think if Tyler Herro was added to this team plus a different wing player, this team has conference finals written on it. Assuming they don't like run into Boston in the first round, that would be unfortunate.
Or the second round, or at all.
Brown would be nice, but Boston don't want us to have him probably, but we need to try hard. Brown. Who? Jaylen Brown?
I would assume Jaylen Brown is probably who he's talking about.
I don't think Jaylen Brown's going to end up on the Pistons.
I don't think so either. Just because if Jaylen Brown does get traded back to Milwaukee in a Giannis trade, I would assume they're flipping him elsewhere, but Detroit, Jaylen Brown and Cade, I don't think that makes sense.
Jeremy says, Herro's a dynamic shooter and scorer. If the Pistons don't pursue another major star, this would be a terrific addition. Have him and Robinson on the same team again, raining threes, open up passing lanes and driving lanes for everybody else. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to put it. Although there is very much a world where Duncan Robinson's the player that's going back to Miami.
Could be.
If this is the trade that actually ends up going down.
Yeah. Duncan more than likely is just getting moved this offseason anyways, just with the contract flexibility that he has for another team to just cut him if you trade him right away. Scott in our YouTube chat does say something that's kind of interesting relating to the Herro stuff with Asar Thompson. He says, Herro spreads the floor more, but the defensive liability makes it hard if you get him. Do you give Asar the green light to not worry about playing anything but defense and dunking if you get Herro? Because obviously you're adding a ton of shooting and scoring with Herro. No. It can take pressure off of Asar offensively.
Sure, it can take pressure off of him, but I don't think that gives him the green light of, hey, don't worry about shooting those threes. Like, no, we talked about this last week. I would like to see Asar Thompson take 2 to 3 threes a game simply for the purpose of you can't just let a defense get away with not guarding a guy. Like, you have to, obviously, you got to go prove you
if
can make them
there's
from
a
out there.
second guy on the floor who also doesn't shoot.
Yeah, and that player is Jalen
If he was the
Duren.
lone guy on the floor that didn't shoot threes, then I don't think it'd be that big of a deal.
No, but you're bailing the defense out every time you catch the ball in the three-point line and they have their back turned to you. You have to be able to at least attempt a three. I'm not even saying you got to be a lights-out three-point shooter, but you got to be willing to space the floor a little bit. Let's go one more. Jay says, I like the idea of adding Austin Reeves more than I like the idea of adding Tyler Herro. I kind of think Austin Reeves is just a better player, but I don't think there's a way to acquire Austin Reeves at this point in time.
I think the only way you acquire Reeves is like
Duren
a sign and trade, but they're both being signed and traded, which just would be the weirdest thing ever. Reeves over Herro, though. I actually haven't really thought about that. Probably.
I think he's a higher. I think he can engage defenders a little bit more in more than just one-on-one situations. Like, Herro's the better one-on-one player. I think Austin Reeves is the better 5-on-5 asset to draw in defenders, kick it to players.
I don't hate that take.
Yeah. Okay. 989-837-6125. Looking for a great meal and hometown hospitality, you got to stop in A&W in Midland, where you'll find delicious burgers, famous root beer, made fresh daily, crispy fries, and family-friendly service that keeps customers coming back. Whether you're grabbing lunch or dinner or just a sweet treat, A&W in Midland is proud to be serving the Great Lakes Bay region. Stop by for lunch today. Let them know 100.9 The Mitt sent you.
And you can see the root bear.
And you can see the root bear. Is he active today? Is he active on Mondays?
I think the root bear is always active.
Also, if you're looking for financial advice that actually makes sense, I'll tell you what. You got to meet Doug Shalini of Kingsview Partners right here in Midland. A former teacher and coach, Doug breaks down all the complicated stuff, makes it understandable for people like you and I, helps families and professionals build clear game plans for their money so you can move forward with confidence and not confusion. That's Doug Shalini, Kingsview Partners right here in Midland. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on the Mitt. I want to jump into the Tigers, who swept the Chicago White Sox this weekend and just rope this right back in. Just as we write this team off, they know how to get you back. They've had an excellent June so far, even after that slip up on the road. So let's jump back into that when we come back here on the Ben Bosscher Show. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and more at the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
Easy Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mid. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Look at that. Just when we write them off, they know how to rope us back in. The Tigers sweep the Chicago White Sox. And if you take a look at the Major League Baseball standings, they're inching closer and closer and closer, not just to the wild card spot, but to the AL Central spot as well, which I know AJ Hinch says the team's not looking at it every day. It's just a number. Well, I certainly am. It's 7.5 out of the AL Central spot right now. It is 5 games out from the wild card spot at this moment. So they were on the ropes a handful of times throughout the weekend, and it didn't really feel like they were going to win a lot of these games, and they just continued to mount comebacks. Yesterday was in extra innings thanks to Matt Vierling, clutch hits by McGonigal and clutch hit by Dingler leading up to that big moment from Matt Vierling, who walked it off for the Tigers. And they've roped this back in. I don't even know what to do with this team anymore. This is the worst-case scenario, though, because I don't think that this team is good enough to just start overcoming the deficit that they put themselves in. But the rest of the conference, or the rest of the league, is so bad that it's like false hope. It's false optimism. But then I look at how they're playing right now. 11-6 in June. It's the third best record in the league. And you look at how bad the American League is. They have the 5th best run differential in the entire league. In the entire league, only 3 teams have a positive run differential. That is the Yankees, that is the Mariners, and that is the Tampa Bay Rays. Chicago's at a -4, and right there, Detroit is at a -5 for run differential. So they're in it. It's not like they're one of these awful teams the way that they've kind of bounced back in June. However, they can't win on the road by any means. They're 12-28 through 40 games on the road. That's probably the biggest reason I don't really think that this team's going to bounce back. But, there's some players in the bullpen that are pitching pretty well right now. They just swept a first-place team, a former first-place team. This is the worst-case scenario to be in, though, Kyle. Continuing this pace where it's like the 600 win percentage and you're going to be sitting around 500 at the deadline, that to me is when the Tigers are going to be in a serious crossroads. And obviously, they're already trending towards one. I'm still going to work under the belief that they're trading Skubal. But if they keep winning at this pace and having an awesome June and have another great July, it's going to be really difficult to know what to do at the deadline. I still ultimately think the best thing to do is probably just to trade Skubal.
Yeah, and I'm sure you saw the report this weekend as well. I believe this came from Jeff Passan in his updated trade article that AJ Hinch, or the Tigers are operating under the preface that they're not trading Tarek Skubal right now, or they plan on keeping him the rest of the year. That's what they're planning on doing. A lot of people took way too much validity into that reporting.
Why wouldn't they put that out?
Exactly. Why would the Tigers say, oh yeah, I know we're winning, but we're still going to trade this guy? Of course they're going to say we plan on keeping him because we think we go on a run. They're going to say that even if they know 100% they're going to trade him.
Also, if you just you come out and say you're trading him, it somewhat devalues him a little bit. You don't feel like you got to go scratch and claw for him.
100%.
You got to go convince the Tigers to trade for him. This is what that puts out.
I saw a lot of Tigers fans get worked up over that. I can't believe that they're not going to trade him.
That's a nothing.
It's not what they're saying. It's literally a nothing report. You know what that is? That's a June 22nd report because we are still over a month away from the trade deadline. So now if I saw that on July 22nd, then I would be a little bit like, oh, okay, that's
sure about that?
Yeah, are you sure that was right? You sure you heard him right? So, yeah, I'm with you in the fact that it sounds pretty weird to say the Tigers sweeping the White Sox is the worst case scenario. It sounds really weird to say that. I would disagree just because it does build some good momentum. I've said this. It would take something historical over the next 6 weeks to convince me that the Tigers shouldn't trade Tarek Skubal. It would take literally not losing a game.
Because they've done some pretty historical stuff in the last 2 years on both ends.
Yeah, there's just not much convincing you can do to tell me that it's not the right thing to do as far as moving off of him. Now, as far as moving off of the whole regime, that's what can be made up as far as right now with the Tigers sweeping the White Sox and the pitching this weekend really was like okay.
Drew Summers, man.
Yeah, who's Aroldis Chapman? We got Drew Summers, man. Best left-hander in baseball out of the pen. I mean, he's been awesome. But just the starting of Skubal, Melton, Montero, like, once again, Kiter Montero, man.
Ooh.
Like, dude got thrown in the bullpen for one game. He has no complaints about it. He said, I'm willing to take on whatever role. He was pretty good out of the pen. And then, hey, guess what? I know we were, like, planning on doing this, but you're back in the starting rotation. Go 7 innings. Great. And Melton was great as well. Like, to have those 3 this weekend, I thought it was awesome. And so it makes you excited about, yeah, they could do something as far as convincing us that they're back into this thing. One series is not doing it, though. It's going to take a lot more.
Yeah, and they've got more opportunities to do that and draw us back in here with this homestand coming up. They had 10 straight games at home. They obviously ripped off 3 of those against the White Sox. Then they've got 3 games against New York, and then they've got 4 games against Houston again, all of which are going to be obtainable considering the way that the Tigers are playing right now. Like I said, 11-6 in June here. So it leads us to, where are you with this Tigers team right now? It's such a weird position to be in as 2 people who believe that they should trade Tarek Skubal, but obviously are still rooting for them to win every single day. It's a tough rope to walk across, yet I think we're doing it pretty well. We give us both a little pat on the back here for this one. We're rooting for the Tigers, but
I mean, how can you not, like,
we understand the logic of wanting to move off of Skubal on August 3rd.
And even, like, sitting here right now while they're not on, I could sit here and be like, it's probably just best if they continue to lose games. But then the second I turn on the TV and they're on the screen, it's like, what, I'm going to sit here and root for them to lose?
No.
I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not a loser.
They've scored more runs than Cleveland this year. Isn't that crazy? A team that they just can't beat.
That's guards ball right there,
scored more
man.
runs than them this year.
That's guards ball. The Guardians have a worse run differential than the Tigers.
Yeah, -7. It makes no sense when you look at some of these
team,
stats.
Man. First place team with a negative run differential. That's just unheard of.
Yet, yeah, there's only 3 teams in an entire league with a negative or with a positive run differential is unheard of. 3 teams,
yeah.
and 2 of them are less than 20. Whereas you go down and look at the National League, and there's 4 teams that are above 20, and 3 teams above 90.
That's crazy.
The American League sucks.
You legit just have the Yankees in the American League, because even the Rays and Mariners, who are a plus run differential, it's not like they're by a ton.
No, it's plus 17,
and the
plus
Yankees
8.
are just crazy. That's basically what Kevin is saying in the YouTube chat. He says, I don't know the concrete statistics, but the American League feels historically bad this year. Literally anything could happen, and I wouldn't be shocked. That's the thing. Like, I'm not even ruling out them trading Skubal and still going on a hot run, right? Like, are we ruling that out? Even?
No,
that's how weird this season is.
Because it's not like Skubal's out there every single day, and the way that nobody's Tarek Skubal, but the way that Kiter Montero and Melton are pitching lately,
yeah,
I'm back to feeling pretty good about the rotation. That's the thing, with or without Tarek Skubal.
The pitching
Obviously,
was awesome
it's better with
weekend.
Skubal.
100%, yeah. Scott in the YouTube chat says, if you're not going to compete for a World Series, move the pieces you need to make yourself a serious contender in the next 3 years. The farm system needs help. Yeah, that was kind of the case.
The farm system needs a
we
lot
said
of
at
help.
the like you have to view this as a positive opportunity. This trade deadline. Who cares about squeaking into the playoffs? The farm system just is not set up for success outside of a Max Clark right now, because we don't even know. Jose Briseño has yet to play this year. Your next best prospect is the 60th something ranked prospect in baseball with Bryce Rayner. Like,
who's a child.
Exactly. Like, the farm system does not have. We always had these big lens on it. Like, oh, look at the prospects they have. Well, they're kind of here now. So
Job and McGonigal have graduated school.
Yeah, and it's just Clark left. So after that, it really looks bleak for them. You have to use this as an opportunity, no matter how much of a win streak you go on here, even if it is a second sweep against New York.
10 a.m. hour is brought to you by Aird Insurance Group. They're all about putting you in a better insurance position. Whether it's your home, auto, life, or business coverage, they make your protection actually fit your life. Whether you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Aird Insurance Group on social media to stay connected and see how they're helping people every day. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. What do you think about this Tigers team post-sweep against the Chicago White Sox?
Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. On 100.9 The Mid.
Live on YouTube. Thanks for listening to those on that end. Subscribe if you have not already. Thanks for those listening on the radio side of things, too. We ask the question, how are you feeling about the Tigers post-sweep against the White Sox? Nat says, the Sox playing the Guardians 7 of their next 12 games. This could play very well into Detroit's favor. They just need to continue finding ways to win games. No Judge for the Yankees this week. I wasn't aware that the Sox and Guardians played each other 7 times in the next 12 games. So the best case scenario for...
Is that good or bad, though? Because you could look at it the stance of, like, what if they just go like 4-3.
That's what we should be rooting for.
You'd be rooting for that, but like there's also the world where Cleveland just wins like 6 of 7 against them, and
I think
Cleveland takes a much bigger lead.
That'd be poor.
But you get closer to Chicago, I guess. It's probably a good thing, yeah, that they're playing each other no matter what.
The closer that is to even in those 7 games, so if they can go 3-4, 4-3 and split, and Chicago's actually the team that wins 4 games, that's the best case scenario. They just beat up on each other, and the Tigers continue to stack series.
Yeah, that's probably it. And no Aaron Judge in this series against the Yankees, and likely in the next as well, because the Tigers play the Yankees twice here in a pretty short stretch, and you're going to likely have no Judge for both of those series.
Tom says all 5 starting pitchers are well right now. They just need to hit above the Mendoza line and have decent relief pitching. Well, the relief pitching has not been a problem as of late, which that's a nice change of pace from what the Tigers are usually putting out there. But it's Drew Summers, man. Holy crap. Who is this guy?
Yeah, I know. For all of the conversation that we have had about, hey, enough with these random guys that nobody knows. Like, we just have to stop that. They had that Wagasok dude pitched the other day, last week. It went terribly. Drew Summers deserves his flowers, and we can say it to whether it's Scott Harris, Chris Federer, or just Summers himself. Absolutely deserves his flowers because he has been amazing in a pretty, of course, limited sample size for the Tigers so far. But that doesn't matter. Like, for a bullpen that has struggled as much as they have this season, they need to have something like this. They need to have some sort of story. 6 1/3 innings pitched, no runs allowed with 10 Ks as well, pretty low walks. Like, it's been great.
And the oldest 25-year-old of all time. He's 25 going on 39.
25?
Going on 39, yeah.
You know, I remember when he
mind-blowing?
Yeah, that is. I actually remember when he came up last year for that very short stint, and I remember some people talked about when he was on West Michigan, it was like, there's no way this guy's a minor league baseball pitcher. Like, look how old he looks.
He looks as if he's 33.
Yeah. 25, man. That's crazy.
Terry says things are gradually coming together, but Hinch has to be better at managing these games. Yeah, time to address the elephant in the room. What happened Saturday was maybe the biggest mistake AJ Hinch has made to date as a Tiger. As a Tigers manager.
Whoa, Ben. We've got major breaking news right now. This is coming out of nowhere.
No way. Dude.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
No effing way.
Dusty May, the Michigan basketball head coach, is accepting.
No way.
Is accepting a deal to take the Dallas Mavericks head coaching job. I saw that I got a Schefter, Shams, and Sleeper notification. I was like, okay, what's going on here right now? What?
There's no way that this is happening.
What?
This is so late into the game to be doing this. Michigan, was it worth it? The national championship, was it worth it? The answer is obviously yes.
What? What is going on? Oh my gosh, dude, this is unbelievable. Oh, my Michigan buddies are just blowing up my phone right now.
This is okay. Hold on. He's taking the Mavericks job to go coach Cooper Flagg. It's that easy. I think it's simply that.
He won a title.
It's that simple.
He got the title.
Now the question is what he built at Michigan sustainable without him? The infrastructure that they've built. And also, where Michigan is really getting screwed here is how late into the postseason, into the offseason, that Dusty May is actually leaving.
The team is already built and ready to go.
So you're saying it's a good thing. I'm saying who the hell is going to be their next coach?
It has to be someone on staff, right? Like they 100%. It's going to just be an interim guy on staff for now.
That you're right in the fact that he already built the team. So this next year, Dusty May should get some credit for the way that it was built because we always think of him as his GM.
Those guys also signed up to play for Dusty May. You know, they didn't sign up for this.
You think they could hit the portal before then, like this summer before fall semester starts?
I would have to do another dive into the rules of all of that because the portal is technically closed. So that I don't know, but.
Is this more out of the blue than when Beeline just got up and left for the Cavs job out of nowhere? This one has to be because it's all those rumors were months ago, and we thought we were deep enough into the offseason.
Dusty May shut them all down.
I guess I didn't even it had slipped my mind that Dallas even had a coach opening that they haven't filled yet.
Well, remember we talked about this. This was in the news sometime last week that the Mavericks had reached out to Dusty May about their job, but we also said that about the Orlando Magic job too. So we've been talking about this for some time. Dusty May, it's always been heavily rumored. Both him and John Shire of Duke have major NBA interests. They have goals to get to the NBA. You watch Dusty May coach in college. He represents an NBA-style coach. He's not this old-fashioned, hard-nosed, grrr type of coach that yells at his guys. No, he's a player's coach. He's friendly with the players, very similar to what an NBA-style coach is, and in the way that he built his team. He built his team like you would in the NBA. It was about making moves in the offseason and size and this and that. Like, it was very obvious that he was going to coach in the NBA eventually, especially after he won the national title. It's like, okay, what else does he have to achieve? Right now, on June the 22nd?
Oh, I don't think anybody is happier about this than Kyle Sandel. I really don't. Any Michigan, Tom Izzo's like, woo! Oh,
no more
Michigan
Dusty
State
May or
fans,
Tom Izzo conversations.
dude. The best rivalry in college basketball just got stripped from us.
Oh, this is so good. Yeah, Scott already said it too. The look on my face, being a Spartan fan, is priceless. Oh,
we just got the
man.
best rivalry in college basketball stripped away from us. We are robbed of just an incredible tenure with
back
these
Juwan
two
Howard.
coaches together. Yeah, the Michigan State fans, they needed a win in every sort of way with all this AD president stuff going down. Here's your win. Michigan just lost who arguably was the best coach in college basketball. You lost him, and they're going to have to replace him with one of his assistants on the coaching staff. Unbelievable breaking news here.
Like,
I'm at a loss for words.
Sorry, I'm at a loss of words too. When we did the show today, and if I would have told you, hey, at one point today, breaking news is going to happen.
Giannis.
How far down the list would this have been? It would have been something like
It would have been Giannis.
I would have put Tarek Skubal trade over this.
I would have put AJ Hinch fired over this.
Yeah, even after the sweep.
Even after the sweep,
Yeah.
I think that would have been less shocking than Dusty May accepting a NBA head coaching job. But it makes sense, dude. He's going to be the Dallas Mavericks head coach as long as he wants. He gets to go coach Cooper Flagg. How many jobs are better than that in the NBA? To be hired not from a win-now standpoint, but from a, you're going to be here to coach Cooper Flagg. This is not a, hey, come save our franchise because we've been eliminated twice in the playoffs. This is a, come be our coach. We believe in you in the long run. Be Cooper Flagg's guy, and let's build something really long-term together. How can you deny that? How can you pass up on that opportunity if you're Dusty May? You're laughing.
Scott in the YouTube chat, Kyle, get 2 carbless and crack them like Stone Cold.
You want them?
Bang, let's go. This is crazy. I mean, you say like, oh, he's going to be coaching for the Mavericks as long as he wants. I completely disagree. The NBA, he was going to be coaching at Michigan for as long as he wanted. The NBA is a different beast, man. You have 1 or 2 bad years, you're fired. Look at Tom Thibodeau, man. They fired him after going to the conference finals last year. Like, there is no security in the NBA with your job. There's none of that involved. And there's not I'm not saying he can't do it, because I do think he is fit for the NBA 100%. There's not a long list of college to the NBA type coaches that are awesome. You know, it doesn't happen very often, so that's why. But
Rarely.
I mean, we haven't seen this since Brad Stevens. There might be one that I'm missing, but I believe Brad Stevens, Butler to Boston, was the most recent one, and that worked out for him. He's now in a front office role. Like, that did work out for him, but wow.
So here's
crazy,
my
man.
question to everyone else. Is what Dusty May built sustainable here at Michigan? Or are you in full panic mode that you lost the cook, the chef who brought everything together, the genius, the mastermind behind it? Are you in that camp, or are you thinking, well, Dusty May brought them this far. They've still got the NIL resources. He's the one that put this team together. They can still go compete next year. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Minute. We'll take a quick break and get to your reactions about Dusty May leaving. Yes, Dusty May is gone to Dallas to go coach the Mavericks. What a turn of events we've had here on the Ben Bosscher Show. It's 100.9 The Mitt. Here's the deal. If you're looking for a steady hand when it comes to your financial future, Kevin Spencer with Edward Jones right here in our community takes the time to understand what matters most to you. helps build a strategy to get you there. Reach out to Kevin Spencer at Edward Jones today because your goals deserve a plan that's actually personal. The 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by none other than Aired Insurance. They understand that they need to put you in the best position possible. Whether it's your home, auto, life, or business coverage, they make sure to get your protection that actually fits your life. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Aired Insurance Group on social media to stay connected and see how they're helping people every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building. On 100.9 The Mid.
I saw someone in the YouTube already say, "Can Connor Stallions coach basketball?" That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, sorry, Around the League.
Yeah,
You're
around we don't have a sponsor on Around the League anymore. Gone. We don't have to do it today.
Up to the ether.
Wow. So for those just joining in, Dusty May is gone. Dusty May is leaving. Dusty May is going to Dallas. And I can't say I'm totally shocked. You get an opportunity to go coach the best 19-year-old in the history of the NBA, you probably take that more often than you don't. You made a face. What's the face?
Best ever?
The best 19-year-old ever? Yeah, he broke all of LeBron's records.
LeBron's better, dude.
Okay, but he broke all of LeBron's records for before 20 at 19 years old, whatever it was. He just had the best
I'll give it to you.
statistical season. So you want to go coach that guy. It's pretty hard to pass that opportunity up if you believe in, I off the top of my head, Dusty May played Cooper Flagg in college, right? Did Michigan play Duke last year, or did he ever?
They didn't play last year, right? Michigan Duke didn't play.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess he never did see Cooper Flagg. But being in the college game and watching Cooper Flagg, I'm sure he came across his tape once or twice of scouting opponents. There was never a doubt about how big Cooper Flagg is. And I feel like now I'm making it more about Cooper Flagg than Dusty May actually leaving. I'm curious as if the Michigan fans are like angry at all for leaving. Because if you could draw up how he was going to the NBA, if I told you he was leaving to go to the association no matter what, you'd probably be comfortable with it happening considering what he won you. He won you a national championship for the first time in 30 years. But you'd say, leave right after the season the way that Harbaugh did so we can have time to do a full coaching search. And then, what happened there? They just hired a guy from within anyway and didn't do a coaching search. So maybe it doesn't make a difference at all, but I'd still feel like basketball obviously much different, the basketball coaching cycle. That's how Michigan fans would have drawn it up. Leave as soon as the season's done so you have time to fill in a replacement. But the alternative I would offer Michigan fans is he built you the 2026-27 team already, and if all those guys are truly committed to playing at Michigan rather than just coaching under Dusty May, then he's going to deserve a little bit of credit for the team that he's built this following season as well.
I guess.
There's no I guess about it. If this team continues to stay together,
he's leaving them out to dry, man. Like,
so you would take the approach of this guy screwed us over.
I mean, he is screwing them over. Like, they have no option right now than to just hire someone on their staff for this year, right? They really have no option, which is pretty interesting because one of their top assistants, Justin Joyner, left to go coach Oregon State. And so now it's like I would assume he was one of the top options that would have been replacing Dusty May. Mike Boynton Jr. is a head assistant on their team that has head coaching experience, so he could probably step in and be the guy. But you're not going to Michigan for the Block M. You're not going there because you like Chrysler Center, right? You're going there because of Dusty May. You're going there because of Dusty May.
And the price tag that all these guys were offered,
yeah,
which I don't
Dusty
think any
May
of those guys are going to.
Sure,
is that going to change though? Because if anything, they're saving money by not having to pay Dusty May right now. They're going to have more NIL money to spend, right?
I guess another thing that John brings up, which I think is pretty crazy. I forgot. I forget about this. Dusty May signed an extension like 2 months ago.
I know. The coaching extensions mean absolutely nothing
2 months
in college
ago,
basketball.
Man. Like to think that like the guys that signed up to play for Michigan are just for sure going to stick around. I do not believe that. Now I don't know we have to figure out the rules behind this. But like they are signing up to playing for Dusty May.
And I would imagine there is an exception to the rule if your coach leaves. If your coach just gets up and leaves, I'd imagine you're allowed back in the portal.
This is the sport of no rules. So
right.
They can probably do anything. This is unbelievable, man. Trey McKinney, it was a good run, man. Elliot Cadeau, you probably wish you would have entered the draft at this point, right?
If there's one player that here's interesting. Dallas has the 9th pick.
They're just gonna.
Are they gonna take Yaks?
They don't need Mara, yeah. So it's like maybe Yaks, yeah, maybe
Yaks and Dusty back together.
Oh my gosh,
you just can't quit Yaxel Underberg.
New least favorite team in the NBA, if that happens. New most hated team in the NBA, if that happens.
If you had a shot at keeping anybody, and I'm with you. Like the more I think about this, and John's point of like, yeah, none of these guys are gonna want to play for Dusty if they have the chance to hop in the portal. They probably will. To that point, if you are going to keep anybody, I think the most important guy to keep is Trey McKinney, and I think that's also the most likely guy you can keep with him being an in-state guy.
I think
I'm just trying to find any sort of silver lining for the Michigan fans. I don't really know how
this is
right
a positive thing. Like that
it's not. I'm not telling anybody it's a positive thing. You lost out on the best coach in college football.
There's no point in trying to spin it that way. This is really bad news for Michigan. It just is. Now it's a lot easier.
I love Kyle's perspective on this. I'm just trying to give anything to the Michigan fans of like, well,
what's the point?
He won a national champion, and then you're just like, they're screwed. They're done. Back to Izzo, baby. He's taking over.
Look, this is just bad news for Michigan. Like, it just is, straight up. It's a lot easier to accept the bad news when you are running off of a national championship.
Yeah,
that's what makes this way easier. But as far as like,
because he probably would have been gone if they didn't win the national championship either. If they just lost that game, I don't know. I don't think it would have mattered. Clearly,
sure,
it didn't matter 2 months ago. You know, like he was just going to stay, and now something happened to where whether or not they won a national championship or not, something this week happened. Clearly, in the last week or so, to where Dallas convinced him to take this job. And again, to the Cooper Flagg point, it's pretty hard to pass up an opportunity to go coach that guy.
Yeah. But I do think that like him winning the championship probably made it a lot easier for him to leave now, where it's like, okay, the reaction won't be that bad because we're coming off of the national title. Like it honestly is better to do it now than like next year if they lost in the Elite Eight or something, right? I would think because everyone's still riding the high of the Natty. Like, and you're losing Yaks, you're losing Mara, like.
The same way, though, that you remember 2 years ago when they got really bad in the tournament with who was the guy who got hired at North Carolina State? North
Will
Carolina
Wade?
State. Yeah, Will Wade leaving in the middle of the tournament, basically.
Oh,
the
yes.
same way that got bad
from McNeese to NC State, sure.
What Michigan should be doing right now is just going and forcing someone to turn down the job. Because clearly there's no rules and you can just get up and leave at any point, whether you're in a contract situation or not. Michigan should just go overpay one of the best mid-tier coaches in college basketball right now. And you just go bring that guy in.
But then you're losing everyone, right? You're losing your whole – like, why would the players want to play for a guy they didn't sign up to play for? Like that's how the landscape of college basketball works.
That guy would want to bring his transfers.
It's the final week of June. Like, everything has started. Workouts, practices, all of this stuff has begun already. We are way too far into the offseason to be considering going out and hiring an external guy. On top of the risk of losing all your players. Like, this
so what?
Is just,
do you actually name a head coach, or do you have an interim coach for the entire season? Because I don't think that's a good look either. But also, you don't want to rush into the process.
Yeah, what's the other option? Go hire a guy that's sitting on the couch somewhere? I saw someone in the YouTube chat, Jared, clearly the only answer is that Michigan now hires Jason Kidd.
You know what?
A little bit of a swap.
That would be incredible.
We've got a pretty good amount of YouTube chats here. Let's get to them. Seth says, first reaction, Michigan just got used as a stepping stone for him. I love that they got the chip, but wow.
I don't think it was used as a step.
I mean, he always...
It kind of was.
It kind of was, right? To get to the league. The ultimate goal was to get to the NBA. You can say the ultimate goal is to win a national championship. It wasn't, because there's something after it, which is getting to the NBA.
We got a text that said, banners hung for Michigan. This can't be an issue. It's all about the football team getting back on track for any Michigan fan at this point. So maybe this kind of wouldn't shock me if the Michigan fans just took the approach of, we got our basketball natty. We can be bad for a couple of years. We're totally content with it. Because that's probably the approach you should be taking here. Of just fully focus on, all right, thanks for the natty, Dusty May. Time to focus on Kyle Whittingham and the football program. We'll bounce back.
Just shifting off of basketball entirely?
Not entirely, but it's all like you're not following it up with a different coach. I mean, he's putting them in a really tough situation.
Like, Michigan was going to come into this year as one of the major favorites. And not saying they won't anymore, but like, they won't. Right?
Correct.
At least we have to see what happens up to that point.
The text that said, call in Coach K. Get him out of retirement.
Scott said Monty Williams.
Okay. No, that guy's still rotting in hell.
Yeah. Kevin says, as a selfish Michigan fan, this is terrible stuff. With that said, I can't blame Dusty. You might not ever get this shot again. At least a national championship provides ample burn relief. Yeah, it's a really good spot he's going to, right? You're going to the Mavericks, who have relatively new owners. I know that they've been talked about in an odder way, but that could mean that they're hungry. Masai Ujiri just got hired to be their GM. You have Cooper Flagg. Like, it's a pretty good spot to go for the NBA. There's not a lot of better open opportunities than that.
Text said, Beeline left Michigan for a role with Cleveland. He didn't make it through the first season. He wasn't officially fired, but the team put him in a different role. I'll finish the text first. I think Dusty's a better NBA fit, but even the best college coaches don't survive long in the NBA. Okay, John Beeline also called all the Cavs players thugs, which was part of the reason he got moved off of, not because of his coaching ability, which I guess coaching abilities, you need to be a people person as well. I think Dusty May has that better than most college coaches in today's world. He's a people person. They love him.
You see how the guys like hang around Dusty May. I totally agree.
He's one of the guys. I don't think you have to worry about him calling anybody thugs on the Mavericks.
I surely hope not. Chris says, if winning a natty is, quote, being used, then I'll gladly be used anytime. It's a good point. And then he asked, did he actually sign that extension? I remember hearing about it, but never heard about it being signed. Yes, he did.
Are we asking the wrong question? Is the question simply, are you angry at Dusty May for leaving?
It seems like nobody really is. They're just upset that he's gone, but you can't really blame him, right? That's it seems like most of the reaction is.
Got a text from Kyle that says, I'm not you, Kyle. I'm a Michigan fan, but I'm not angry at Dusty May at all. Nothing surprises me with these coaches. Dusty May vehemently said he wasn't going anywhere and promised it, just like in life. I trust no one. Hey, we're getting deep. May betray the incoming players.
No one.
May betray the incoming players and will lose recruits because of this. The timing is wrong. Not a Dusty guy anymore. Okay, kind of does seem like he's a little angry at Dusty
May. The timing is wrong. Like, I agree with that. We can sit here and say, well, you can't blame them. I'm not that mad at them because they won the national championship. This surely puts Michigan in a really tough situation. Whereas if this would have been done 2 months ago, obviously it couldn't have been because Dallas didn't fire Jason Kidd till 2 weeks ago. But it would have been a lot easier for Michigan to recover and potentially get a new head coach and fix their transfer portal. Now I have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen either. My best guess would be one of their assistant coaches becomes their interim head coach for now, which is not where you really want to be.
Yeah, I agree.
989-837-6125. More when we come back here on the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. Hey, Mid-Michigan, if your eyes feel dry, itchy, or irritated all day, that is not normal. Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic specializes in dry eye treatment that actually works. If your eyes burn, water, or feel tired from screens, they can help you get real lasting relief. From advanced dry eye care to exam glasses and contacts, they've got you covered. Stop dealing with this discomfort and start seeing comfortably again. See better, feel better with Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic next to Kroger in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky's.
bring no money? You better. You always be coming without no money, girl. Come on.
Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Hey, I do want to shout out anyone watching in our YouTube right now because we appreciate you, first of all. Second of all, pretty unfortunate day to have a company golf outing in which we are going to end the YouTube stream an hour early today and go to the golf course.
Sorry, golf. We might have to turn it down, dude.
This is some for June, like you said, if there was going to be a list of 10 breaking news items throughout the course of today, I don't know if this would have been one of them. A couple more texts here. Jack says, can't blame the guy for wanting to do an NBA job. Not much more to accomplish in college, but definitely shady to do it one day before the draft. Yeah, if Yax ends up going there, this feels like, there's no way he was just hired today, though, right? Like, this was probably a done deal over the weekend.
I think he was hired today, Ben.
I would guess this was done over the weekend, and it's waiting to drop until a Monday morning.
I guess, but that means it happened yesterday. You know, like it means it didn't happen that long ago.
My guess, pure speculation, would be Dusty May went to Dallas this weekend and was convinced to take the job.
I think there's many different routes you could go here. First off, the obvious one, the elephant in the room, is that Tom Izzo has never left Michigan State. Has had many opportunities. I just wanted to see your reaction
obvious
to that.
one.
No, the obvious one is like, do we need to take this a step higher? Is this a Ward Manuel conversation at this point?
And now he's going to have to hire another guy.
The lone good hire that Ward Manuel has had in the last 5 years at Michigan, and it was a great hire. I don't want to underestimate that. Like,
well, him going to the NBA should validate that it was a great hire.
Dusty May is an extremely good hire. How do you not get that guy to stay at Michigan? With everything that he has access to, with all of the Michigan stuff involved in a national championship, how do you not convince that guy to stay at Michigan?
No,
despite
I don't
his
think it can
goals
be that.
and aspirations.
I think
You could have been potentially one of the best college coaches of the decade, and we can't understate how big of a risk this is for Dusty May. Like, this is a humongous risk to take. I know it's a good situation with Cooper Flagg and everything. I would argue that makes it even riskier because there's going to be expectation for the Mavericks to be good with a superstar player in Cooper Flagg.
No, I think if anything, the Ward Manuel conversation is, holy crap, this guy's going to have to hire another Michigan head coach, whether that's football or basketball. And most of the hires, whether it's Juwan Howard or Sharon Moore, have not worked out. And those have both been like Michigan guys, guys that have come from within. Well, is he going to be willing to have an external coaching party search? Because when he was able to do that and didn't just hire the first guy that walked into his office with Sharon, he was actually able to hire some pretty good candidates in Dusty May, and then we think Kyle Whittingham has had a pretty good start, even though I know they haven't played a game yet.
A ton to prove, obviously.
Correct. I would be more worried about that, and the microscope should be on him with the next decision he's going to make, because it's a miracle that guy's even still around, rather than question whether or not, like, I guess I'm confused as to the how did you not get Dusty May to stay conversation, I don't think is valid because of the dream for him to always be in the NBA at one point. And he won a national championship. I don't think there was any amount of money that could have kept Dusty May here. Any amount of resources that could have kept Dusty May here, because all that stuff just gets amplified when you go to the NBA. You just get paid more. It's just that simple. He was one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball after he signed that 5-year extension. He had the money. He had the lifetime contract if he wanted it. It was clearly something he never wanted. I don't think there was anything Ward Manuel could have done to keep him around. So that I don't blame Ward Manuel for.
I just think with Ward Manuel's track record, this certainly, I understand the statement you're making. Maybe nothing was stopping Dusty May from getting to the NBA. But with his history, I just find it hard to believe that at some point this wasn't a little bit screwed up by him.
I do think that this is wild, the timing of this. You fired your coach 2 weeks ago if you're the Mavericks, and just now, a day before the draft, you're bringing in a new one? Like, Dusty...
Are they the lone team with no head coach right now?
Portland? Does Portland have a head coach?
You're right, Portland doesn't. Yep.
And he definitely was not taking the Portland job. Yak should be the favorite to go number 9, right?
I just love how this is the first reaction to that. I mean, I guess, probably. I don't know. What if they don't want, it's not like Dusty May's the lone guy drafting. So here's some
Cooper Flagg as your wing defenders. Good luck. Good luck opposing offenses.
This is some good information here from Jeff Borzello, one of the top college basketball insiders for ESPN. Per the NCAA's transfer portal policy change in January, when a head coach change occurs, players have a 15-day period in which to enter the transfer portal, a period that begins 5 days after a new head coach is hired or publicly announced. So they have, once the Michigan new head coach is announced, that's when their window opens. Yeah, they're losing it.
They should just never announce their head coach. They should just never announce it until a day before the season.
I guess technically you could do that. I'm assuming there's some sort of deadline by when they have to name one as well at this point. They're not going to lose everyone, but the only,
you got to keep McKenny.
I will confidently say the only way they keep everyone is if they hire internally with Mike Boynton Jr., who has head coaching experience, one of the top assistants on the Michigan staff. That's the only way, because if you do an external hire, how can you convince the players to stay despite the money?
Does there have to be something else other than the money and the playing time guaranteed? Trey McKinney comes back knowing he's a lead guard and is probably getting paid a handsome amount of money. I would say that's the number one guy to keep, and obviously Brandon McCoy Jr. is the other guy, the other 5-star that's coming in this year. This actually is the first. That guy is way more vulnerable to leave right now than McKinney, I think.
This is actually the first college to NBA jump since John Beilein. There has not been one since then, which is crazy that both were Michigan. Yeah. And Dusty May is the first coach to leave the offseason after winning a title since Larry Brown did it in 1988. Worked out for him.
Do you think he'll have a successful NBA career? Because everything that we talked about this guy throughout the course of the season, the mastermind stuff, the chess aspect of him, the ability for his players to not just Izzo in a lot of ways is like a father figure, I'm going to turn these boys into men. I don't think that's what they ever got with Dusty May. I think he wanted adults in the building and treated them as equals and treated them as, with mutual respect for one another. Not that Izzo doesn't do that, but I think Izzo takes it upon himself to be inspiration in a lot of these people's lives and to help them grow as people, where Dusty's whole goal is to get guys to the NBA, and he did a great job of that. That's why I think it's going to work in the NBA. I think he's used to not having to coach kids and treated everyone as a full-grown adult and peers more so than I'm the coach and you're the player. That's why I think he's going to have a good NBA career.
I think so, too. I think he's built to be a good NBA coach. I just think that it's just way different. It just is. Like, the pressure aspect of being an NBA head coach, like, name me the NBA coaches that have been longer than 5 years at this point. There's, like, a handful of them.
It's like Spoelstra.
You just have to deliver. Like, you cannot have a down year. You have one down year, and they're on to the next one. And that's a risky move to make.
And there's no coming back.
Yeah.
You burn the bridge.
100%. And so I think also notably here, pretty interesting, Duke's John Shire apparently had major interest in the Dallas job, and he chose to stay at Duke.
Who reported
rather than this is from Jeff Goodman. So that's interesting. Dusty May, of course, has the national title, and I think that plays into this a ton. Nonetheless, this is just insane timing. All the Michigan fans, I do feel for you because this is just a really tough spot to be in. But you've got the Natty, so like I can't feel for you that much.
What an unbelievable day to have to end the show early today. At least we're going out with a bang.
YouTube. We apologize, YouTube. We are going out with a bang. And we know what we're talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, the Tigers. Imagine we get this plus a Tyler Herro to the Pistons move tomorrow. We're going to have a jam-packed show tomorrow. It's going to be the same deal tomorrow, though, a 2-hour show because of some external company stuff. So, yeah, that's basically going to do it for us today. We appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Fun show. For you on the radio, we're going to re-air some of the stuff from the first 2 hours of today's show, but make sure to tune back in tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We'll obviously have more in-depth thoughts on the Dusty May thing rather than just the live reaction. But go rewind and watch the live reaction because that was probably fun too. Maybe you'll see that in socials. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. As always, brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Those are where you can find us and follow us along. We'll have some good Facebook posts the rest of the day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Be there, be square. See you guys later.
The Ben Bosscher